Hey guys, it's Dan from Mobile Reviews A.ca. This is Monty, the Ho from Mobile Reviews A.ca. And today I'm going to give you the top 10 iPhone 7 cases out of the 60 plus that I've reviewed. Now, I personally hate marketing fluff, so all the cases have been rated in the same manner. I've done hundreds of cases for the iPhone 6, got 60 for the iPhone 7 so far. The list is constantly changing. I think this is the third time I've updated this list in the last 2 to 3 weeks. So depending on when you're watching this video, do check out my website for the most up-to-date list, or the too long didn't bother going to Aaron's website's list below in the description section. At the end of the top 10 list, I've got 2 cases that didn't make the cut, but they're very unique and I feel that they are worth giving a shout out for. So let's get started. Number 10 is the Silk Innovation Base Grip. This is actually one of my more favorite cases, and it makes me a little sad that it's only number 10, but the scoring difference between the number 1 case and the number 10 case is about 0.23 A's, which isn't really much. The biggest benefit of the Silk Innovation Base Grip is the size. This is the smallest case on this list, and the texture of the case is awesome. It handles better than most clear cases, and you don't have to deal with the fingerprinting issue that plagues other clear cases. Oddly enough, though, the extra texture doesn't add much to the table slide, as it will slide around on a flat surface. Number 9 goes to the Tech 21 Evo Mesh and or Evo Chek, depending on where you get it. The reason why I love the Tech 21 Evo Mesh is the fact that it's very grippy. Your device isn't going anywhere if you have a decent hold on your iPhone. Unlike other clear cases, the design on the back hides fingerprinting and face grease well, and the cherry on top is that the case is drop rated to 9.9 feet. Theoretically, I'm going to put that to the test. The only downside to the case is that the power button is a little stiff, which is something I noted on the Galaxy S7 version as well. The case is a bit wider than the average iPhone 7 case, so if you have a hard time holding onto your giant iPhone 7 Plus, this might not be the case for you. And as a side note, the case is called the Evo Mesh in the Apple Store and the Evo Chek online. Number 8 goes to the Rhinoshield Crashguard. Now, this is the only bumper on the list, and it's surprising to me since my updated scoring system really isn't bumper friendly, but this tiny bumper is on this list because, well, the drop protection is kind of off the charts. I'm a big fan of Evolutive Labs. Their solid suit is my current pick for being the best iPhone 6 case, when it gets released. Evolutive Labs is one of the very few companies that I get the sense that they take great pride in their work, and it shows because, well, the materials that they use in their Crashguard solid suits and play proofs, well, it can handle a 10-foot drop, and I've dropped my iPhone 6s in a play proof so many times and it still works. My only complaint for the bumper is it is a bit slick, and like the Tech 21 Evo Mesh, is a bit wider, so tiny-handed people might not like this bumper with their iPhone 7 Plus. Number 7 goes to the Spigen Hybrid Armor. I will say this about Spigen, they are on top of their game when it comes to new devices. The moment a new device comes up, I've pretty much got their entire lineup showing up at my doorstop. My biggest concern with Spigen cases is the variability between all their products, because one version of the case can have different setups, and depending on what you get, can be a great case, can be a bad case. Now, why do I like the Hybrid Armor? The handling of the case is what brings it on top of other Spigen cases. If you get the version with the clear TPU and soft rubber coated back, you're going to have a case that works incredibly well with your iPhone 7. Number 6 goes to the Tech 21 Impact Clear. Impact Clear is a no-nonsense case. It's thin, light, and clear. If you're looking for something that is relatively minimalistic without the fingerprinting issues that's expected of other normal clear cases, get the Tech 21 Impact Clear. This case will slide around if you place it on its back, but the frosted design will hide fingerprinting, scratches, and face grease a little better than regular clear cases. Slick back doesn't really take away from the handling of the case, as the front edge is actually quite rubbery. Oh, and it's drop rated to 5 feet, which is an odd number to us because we usually see 3 feet or 4 feet or 6.6 feet, but never 5. Number 5 goes to the Ballistic Jewel. The Ballistic Jewel is a jewel of an iPhone case. Get it? Standout feature of the Ballistic Jewel are the ballistic corners, which is just a fancy name for the bulbous corners on the corners of the iPhone. Of this iPhone case. Now, why do I like these corners? Because they improve the protection of the case and they make the iPhone easier to use with one hand. I dropped the Ballistic Jewel face first from about 6 feet, well, and the iPhone's fine, which is something I can't say for the top rated case in this list. Texture of the Jewel is very rubbery, which is great for grip, but the edges are quite pliable, which means dust and pocket debris may end up getting between iPhone and the case, so I'd recommend cleaning the case more often than other cases. Number 4 goes to the Incipio Reprieve Sports. This is the toughest clear case that I've seen so far. Standout feature is the 12-foot drop protection that Incipio claims this case has. has. No, I haven't dropped it yet. I am planning to, and if you want to see that happen, rate up the Reprieve Sport in my ranker list. Now, like the Ballistic Jewel, I found the corners of the Reprieve fairly enjoyable to use. They fit well in your hand. The back of the case is raised, so it will reduce the wear and tear on the clear back, but out of all the cleared cases, the back is actually, it feels like there's some sort of oleophobic coating to it. It's a little slick. So before we get to the top 3, if this is the first time you're watching one of my videos, I do encourage you to click subscribe, as I produce content 2 to 3 times a week. If you're planning on getting one of the cases that's in my list, consider getting it through the links in the description section below or through my website, as most of these cases I had to go by myself. Spigen is a good job of sending me cases for free, but a lot of the other ones I had to go spend money out of my own pocket, and it's funny because, well, it was kind of painful to spend all that money because the iPhone 6 versions and the iPhone 7 versions of the cases are so close. So very, very close. But top 3. So number 3 goes to the Spigen Tough Armor, which is the second Spigen case on this list. One of the things I like about the Tough Armor are the edges. They're not rounded, they're a little more angular, I'll say, and they feel a little more stable in my hand. But if you don't like the hard edges, do check the Slim Armor, which is scores just a tad lower. Now, like I said with the hybrid armor, you need to be careful with the version that you get. The clear TPU versions don't have the extra speaker grill covers, and the light color polycarbonate shells don't have the soft rubber coating. Spigen, seriously, what the hell? The only gripe that I have is that the buttons sit fairly flush, which may be annoying for some people. And if you're wondering if it's a tough case, well, this iPhone I dropped face first from about face height, and the iPhone's fine. Number 2 goes to the Urban Gear Monarch, and I kind of chuckle at the name of the case, the Monarch, because this is at the top of one of the 2 cases at the top of the list, so it's kind of like a Monarch. I love the case, but there are a couple of odd things about it. The Monarch is probably the fanciest case on this list since it includes aluminum, leather, the usual TPU, polycarbonate. UAG claims that this case has 5 layers of protection, which seems, great, but one of those layers are these tiny metal nubs in the back, which I don't think they do much, and it seems silly to me. Despite that, this case has so much texture and handles exceptionally well. The case looks really big, but it isn't that much bigger than your average iPhone 7 case. Now, the oddest thing about this case is UAG's decision to include a cutout for the headphone jack, which basically makes this case a unisex case. I mean, a unit-number case for both the iPhone 6 and 7. So some people may be bothered by the lack of symmetry on the bottom of this case with their iPhone 7s. I know if I stare at it long enough, it drives me crazy. Number 1 goes to the Speck Presidio grip. This is the current number 1, and the standout feature of this case is the handling it offers your case. The ribs on the back add a ton of texture to the case, making your iPhone 7 feel incredibly stable in your hand. And it's not that big either, which is crazy considering that Speck says you can drop it from 10 feet. Speck replaced the glossy back of the candy shell grip with a matted shell, which hides wear and tear way better. The only gripe I have with this case is that the marketing fluff that Speck surrounds the Presidio grip, as they claim it will protect your iPhone from 10 feet drops, which is true for corner drops, but not face drops. And based on my experience dropping iPhones, maybe 1 out of 5, 1 out of 10 drops will be a face first drop, but most of the other ones will be a corner drop. And even if you look closely enough, dropping it from face first, it's always going to be a corner that hits first. But with the Speck Presidio grip, they said 10 feet. We dropped to 10 feet face first. And well, as you can see in this video, it did not survive. So those are the top 10 cases that I've reviewed so far. The other 2 cases that I think are worth a look is the Poetic Affinity. Now this case scores about 3.7. So the lowest ranked case, number 10, is 4.0 something. This one's 3.78. It's close to 3.8. And the reason why it scores lower is it's not drop rated, and so it won't protect your iPhone as well. But what I like about the Poetic Affinity is it feels great. There's a lot of texture on this case, and it looks pretty awesome. It's a very minimalistic case, and it will handle any sort of accidental day-to-day drop that you have. Now, the second case that you should also check out is this Lunatik Air. Now, Lunatik does a great job with their products. I know they had a bit of trouble last year with their 6S products, but the Lunatik Air, the reason why I like this is most of these other cases, they're made from TPU polycarbonate, sometimes aluminum, sometimes leather. This is made from polycarbonate, and there's an air, we'll say. This red thing on this case is an air bumper, and so it changes the entire feel of the iPhone. There's a bit of give to the air bumper, so it makes the iPhone feel different, a little more unique. Biggest downside is the screen protection isn't great, as the edges are really low, and I don't know if you can see, but the glass screen protector that I have on this iPhone almost goes past the edge. So if I put it face down, it might scratch the glass screen protector. So that's all I got. That's 12 cases that I've done in 15 minutes of recording. That's actually quite a long video. Hopefully by the time that you've gone through this entire video, it was useful to you. Find me on Google plus Twitter as well as Facebook. Yes, Monty is wearing a little Mobile Reviews A bandana. There's a strawberry in front of him that I'm using to tempt him to eat or to sit still with, so he gets a little treat now. Find me on Google plus Twitter as well as Facebook. Questions, comments, leave them a bit down below, or message me through my website. That's kind of all I got. Thanks for watching.